Welcome, y'all. I am the loud little ducky. So I am glad I sat on this for a few days before recording a video. Today we are going to go over the welfare checks on Owens. We're going to watch the body cam footage of Laura Owens' mother answering the door and her lies to the police, and take a look at Owens' 911 records, basically, for the last 3 to 4 years. So let's jump right in because we have a lot to cover. So here is basically a record of what we have. This was updated August 3rd on the Justice for Clayton wiki page. We have at least 20 calls that were made by Owens to Scottsdale Police Department. We have 4 people that have called in welfare checks from November 7th, 2023 to December 12th, 2023, which is around the time that she posted a Medium article about unaliving ideations, blaming it on Dave Neal. I don't know that she was fully blaming the JFC people at that point, but she put this out for the public to read. People, including the FBI, were concerned. And then we also have the one call made by her attorney, David Gingras, about Maraschini being a witness, a subpoenaed witness at that, on the court date for Clayton Eckhart v. Owens, and saying, oh, he's breaking his restraining order that I have against him in California. That went nowhere at the time. But all of this is within a span of 3 to 4 years, as I said, from the dates July 1st, 2021, yes, you heard that correct, 2021, to June 10th, 2024, the day of the hearing. So let's look at these calls. So July 1st, 2021, Laura calls the Scottsdale Police Department stating that she is being harassed by Sean of the Lone Star Cactus Construction. Now, I haven't covered that case. If y'all want me to cover that case, please let me know in the comments and we will. I wasn't going to look at it because it's not in regards to these men and the things she was doing wrong there, but covering the Lone Star Cactus Construction case and the Uber case might give us some insight more onto who she is as a person. So let me know if you want me to cover those. She also got a follow-up call from them, and then the field contact report about the alleged harassment from Sean of Lone Star Cactus Construction was done. Then we have August 13th, so a little over a month later, Laura contacts Scottsdale Police accusing Sean of Lone Cactus Construction of stealing from her. A few weeks later, she calls the Scottsdale Police Department claiming that Greg is harassing her. So Greg enters the picture here. Now she has lovers' quarrels that she wants to call the police about. Then she's good until November 1st of 2021 when Laura calls Scottsdale Police Department claiming that Greg is tracking her through spyware on her computer. And do you know what the police department said in their reports about that? Nothing was found on these allegations. Like, this is just her making crap up. She has no proof that anybody was tracking her. The only person that was tracking people was her, with her mail tracking app, or mail tracking thing that she put on her emails and such, that she has admitted to. Then about a week later, Laura receives a text from an unknown number and claims that it was Greg's cousin that messaged her. How she knows this, I don't know. Like, I literally could save a spam number in my phone as Greg's cousin. And that doesn't mean that Greg's cousin is actually calling me. So, don't know what proof she has there. Doesn't seem to be any. A field interview detailed from the harassment. There are those. Then she waits 2 months, and on February 11th, 2022, Laura contacts the Scottsdale Police Department claiming that Greg has violated his order of protection. And then she makes it all the way from February till the end of July on the 31st. Oh, wait, no, she's made it an entire year and a half, basically, without calling Scottsdale police that we know of. But on 7/31/23, Laura calls Scottsdale police claiming that she is being threatened and harassed by Clayton. And the police are probably thinking, at least the dispatch people, if she's talked to any of the same people or any of the same officers, if they have addressed her at any point during all this, they're like, does everybody harass her? Like, you start to be the girl who cried wolf. Then in September 22nd, 2023, Laura calls the Scottsdale Police Department complaining about what Clayton is posting on social media. And then it says part 2. September 27th, 2023 to November 9th, 2023, Laura talks to Scottsdale Police Department numerous times, claiming that Greg is leaking info to the press. The Gillespie connection. No, Owens is leaking things to the press. Like, for real? For real, for real? October 6, 2023, Laura contacts the Scottsdale Police Department about Clayton harassing her online. They say that they have the audio below. We might listen to those in another video. 10/7, so the very next day, Laura contacts Scottsdale Police claiming that Greg violated his order of protection by posting online. Even a day after that, Laura contacts the Scottsdale Police claiming that Greg violated his order of protection by posting online. And then she calls again on the 9th, saying the same thing. And then on the 10th, she calls. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row that she has called. Laura contacts Scottsdale Police claiming that she was violated cyberly. Have any of you ever been cyberly violated? Like, what does it feel like? 9 days later, on 10/19/2023, Laura calls the Scottsdale Police claiming that Clayton has violated his order of protection. 11/1/2023, Laura contacts the Scottsdale Police Department claiming she is being stalked and harassed online. A little over a month later, on December 8th, 2023, Laura contacts the Scottsdale Police Department about a violation of a protection order. Don't know whose. And then in January of 2024, Laura calls the Scottsdale Police about an article from The Sun. Ma'am, you're the one who talked to The Sun. Now you want to call about it? Good luck with that. Like, The Sun is not going to get in trouble for that. On 1/18, there are 2 things. There is Laura calls Scottsdale Police about harassing phone calls. Scottsdale Police Department search Laura's house. Laura never responds to their calls. She doesn't even answer to get any of this stuff resolved. She just wants to call and say, hey, I want to tell you all this stuff, so there's a record of it, but, I'm not going to answer when you call back. I just want to make sure that y'all have a record, but y'all don't actually have details from me. February 7th, 2024, Laura calls Scottsdale Police claiming that somebody is threatening her online. And The day after the court hearing, June 11th, 2024, Laura calls the Scottsdale police stating that all three men have violated her orders of protection against them. Then we have calls that are made by other people to the police department. These are the welfare checks, as well as Gingras calling the Phoenix Police Department on Maraschini because he's at the June 10th trial as a subpoena witness. But on November 7th, 2023, an anonymous tipster contacts Scottsdale police for a welfare check on Laura Owens. On December 4th, somebody from the FBI called Scottsdale PD for a welfare check on Laura Owens after receiving an alarming tip from her. So when she tried to call the FBI herself and talk to the FBI herself, I believe it was via email or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, she tried to contact the FBI, and the FBI was like, somebody please go check on this crazy woman. Like, this woman is not in her right mind. She is not okay. I wonder how many times the FBI actually does that. But most people don't try to reach out to the FBI directly either. So, yeah. December 8th, 2023, anonymous person contacts Scottsdale police for a welfare check on Owens. A field contact report regarding the welfare check is also documented here. Then on 12/12/23, anonymous friend contacts Scottsdale police for a welfare check on Laura Owens. And that one is a friend from New York. Or the 8th might be that. We'll find out later on in this video. There is transcripts on this wiki page for 911 calls between September 22nd, 2023 and February 14th, 2024. There are audio calls. Laura's called to the Scottsdale police about harassment from 10/6/23. The audio call of the anonymous person. That's one we'll be listening to today. And then on 2/7/24, Laura calls Scottsdale police claiming that somebody is threatening her online. And then from June 11/24, Laura calls the Scottsdale Police Department stating that all three men have violated her orders of protections against them by standing on an Instagram post together and Clayton talking, her name never being mentioned, and Gillespie and Maraschini not saying a word. Like, what? Yeah, call the police. Call the police. 3 men are in a room together, and they didn't say my name. Like, get over yourself, lady. So that is her keeping Scottsdale police busy for the last 3 or 4 years. Now I want to go over what happens during a police welfare check, or what's supposed to happen. And so when we look at the welfare check that we are going to watch on the body cam footage, see if they did these things. So a welfare check done with proper care can comfort and reassure everyone involved. The process for police welfare checks may vary slightly from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but they generally proceed in the following manner. Number 1, determine the urgency of the wellness check. If you believe someone is in immediate danger, call 911. Otherwise, you can request a welfare check by calling the local non-emergency police number. 2, you will provide dispatch with the details about the situation and explain why you believe a welfare check is necessary. Those things were done. 3, if you are requesting a police welfare check for a mental health crisis, clearly state this fact. Okay. I think the one we're listening to today she was afraid of her harming herself, and that she had posted things about this, mentioning somebody's going to have blood on their hands from her doing that to herself. Request a response from an officer with mental health training. That I don't know that we have. At the end of the call, ask the dispatcher to repeat the information back to you to ensure they understand the situation is a mental health crisis. Dispatchers will send police officers to perform the welfare check. The officers will attempt to make contact. I don't even know that we have an attempt. Well, I mean, they did go to the house that they were supposed to. So I guess that can be technically considered an attempt. If unsuccessful, they may speak with neighbors or investigate for signs of forced entry or other worrisome activity. Nope. Didn't see any of that. 6. The officers cannot contact the party to complete the welfare check. They may, if the officers cannot contact the party to complete the welfare check, they may enter the premise. And we didn't have that. They may enter the home without a warrant if they reasonably believe someone inside needs help. 7. If the officers find the person is in good health, they will notify you. 8. If the officer finds the person needing help, they will provide immediate medical assistance or call for medical transportation. They will also contact you to come to the scene. Well, if somebody's in New York, they can't come to the scene. 9. If any foul play is suspected, the police will conduct a criminal investigation. So those steps seem simple enough, right? And it needs to be, to me, a good attempt, not just going to the house and being like, oh, nobody answered, or oh, somebody else came to the door, so we didn't go any further. And then, they can go inside the home. But they need to lay eyes on the person. And talking to them on the phone or taking somebody else's statements from somebody other than the person you're doing a welfare check on is not good enough, in my opinion. Nor do I think it is by protocols. So this is going to be the FBI call for the welfare check on December 4th, 2023. Let's take a listen.
Scottsdale, please.
Hi, my name is Hannah Clark. I'm calling from the FBI's National Threat Operations Center in West Virginia, and I'm calling
Gives
to
her
give you
name
guys
and
some personal
location.
information and to request a welfare check on an individual in your AOR.
For what address?
So it's going to be...
Glad they redacted.
Okay. And who are we checking on here?
The name provided on the tip is Laura Owens. I'm not
Yep.
sure if you guys are familiar with her.
Do you have a date of birth or anything on her? And in case I lose you, what's the phone number for you?
Our Ops Center phone number is going to be...
Which they did. Her date of birth is in May.
Okay, and why are we checking on Laura? Scottsdale, please.
Hi, my name is Hannah Clark. I'm calling from the FBI's National Threat Operations Center
Not a phone call.
in West Virginia, and I'm calling to give you guys some pass-on information and to request a welfare check on an individual in your AOR.
Harassed and defamed.
So it's going to be...
Okay.
False
And who are we checking
portray.
The name provided on the tip is Laura Owens. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with her.
Do you have a date of birth or anything on her?
Oh, even the
And
FBI
did we
knows
lose
she
you
has
as
a
one of our
history of.
Our Ops Center phone number is going to be...
Okay, and why are we checking on Laura today?
So she put in an electronic tip, so she did one through the FBI website, and it's a very long tip. She just talks about how she's being harassed and defamed online by other individuals, but there is one sentence that she puts in here where she states, I have written to Mr. Neal on at least 2 occasions, telling him that his false portrayal of me publicly has left me at times feeling borderline suicidal. So it's for the vague suicidal comments.
Do you know what Laura looks like?
So they even know that just a
I do not.
few weeks prior, they did
It
a welfare
seems
check
like
on her for
he
the same thing.
has a history of making reports to the Scottsdale Police Department, from what I have found.
Okay. Any
But,
mention of any weapons or anything that she could have, or are you aware of any?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. When did you guys receive this tip?
So we received this tip, give me a second, I'll tell you the exact time and date. So it was today, 12/4 at 10:50 a.m.
Okay, so they don't know what she looks like. So I guess she didn't submit her picture and her all the best and look at my podcast and look at my chicken soup for the soul, which no longer exists on the digital copy. But the FBI is like, this woman has contacted y'all a lot. Like, y'all should know what she looks like. You'll need to have a picture on her profile that says this woman abuses 911 and takes up people's resources. Because every time she calls and has to have somebody come deal with her, talk on the phone with her, is her taking police resources away from people that have actual emergencies, that maybe actually need to be saved because they're actually going to do something to themselves, or some other type of investigation and crime that's being committed. Whereas somebody putting something online is not a crime. At least in this case. There are some other things, but we don't deal with that in this case. But she contacted the FBI about Dave Neal. She doesn't like how he's portraying her. She thinks he's harassing her and defaming her. Well, you don't call 911 for that. You go to civil court for that, which she did do. And then kind of settled it in a way, or dropped it in a way, because she's got nothing. She's making all of this up and wasting everybody's time because she won't get her head checked and do what she needs to do to get her head and her mental health in a good state. So here is the CAD sheet from Scottsdale Police. Talk about Laura Owens. They got a tip this morning from her. It was a long tip about her becoming defamed and harassed online, made a borderline unaliving comment, so they wanted a wellness check on her. Unknown weapons, unknown description, information for the event, extensive history. Search completed, information of event, notes. Laura was contacted and said she was not having unaliving thoughts or having any thought of harming herself. She admitted writing borderline unaliving in her tip to the FBI, and that it was in reference to how being a victim of cyber stalking makes her feel. Well, that's not a descriptive word. You need to find better words. You are a writer in your, like, you like to be writing all the time. Come up with better descriptors than that. But not that she would act on that. She refused any additional resources. RP advised of outcome. And so then they put the people on there that dealt with that call. It says she was contacted, so they did a wellness check by calling her, not actually sending officers out. Well, maybe they did send them out. I hope they sent somebody out, not just did it over the phone. But it says she was contacted, so that is interesting, because welfare checks aren't supposed to be done that way, because you never know who's actually on the phone. Here is the transcript of that phone call, and if you want to pause it and read it, you can, but it's just the transcript to what we just listened to. Now here is a couple of weeks or a week and a half or so later, on December 12th, 2023. This is another welfare check called on Owens.
Schizo Police, this is Tracy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, thank you. I'm calling because I was hoping to be able to have the wellness check done on one of my friends.
Okay, do you have the address?
Yes, I believe she's at this address right now.
What address is that?
It is.
Okay, what makes you think she's there? Is she renting a room? Does she live there?
Her parents live there.
Okay, hold on just a second. I need to answer 911. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. What's your friend's name?
No worries. Laura.
What's Laura's last name?
Owens. Owens.
Is it Laura Laura, or does she have a different spelling?
Yes. Yep, Laura.
Do you know her date of birth?
I don't know her date of birth.
Do you know how old she is?
I don't know the date.
Okay, so she's like 33?
33, yeah.
Okay. Is she white, black, Hispanic, Native, Asian, Middle Eastern?
She's white.
What's going on with her that you're concerned?
Well, she is currently pregnant with twins. It's a whole long story, involved in a paternity situation with the father, and she has mentioned several times to people that she's very depressed and suicidal. So I just want to make sure she's okay.
Have you tried calling her or texting her?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, so you haven't. She's not responding?
Yeah, but I haven't done it, I didn't do it, right before I called you guys. It's been a while.
What's
and I know, probably about a day or so. And I know she recently posted online. It was before I last contacted her, but, so I know she was active online, and now I just haven't heard anything.
Keep in mind this is a female who is called.
Okay. What's Laura's phone number?
Let me look, sorry. 1 second. Sorry, I don't have it memorized.
Okay. While you're looking for that, do you know how old Laura is? Or I'm sorry, how tall Laura is?
Oh, how tall? About 5'5".
Is she thin, medium, or heavy set, minus the pregnancy?
Thin.
Okay.
Thin. Yeah, normally thin.
Do you know what kind of vehicle she drives?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you know if there's weapons in her house, or is she like an avid gun carrier or anything?
Not an avid gun carrier. I have not known her to have one.
Okay. And has Laura made mention of suicide, or just saying that she's just making like suicidal statements?
It's been like basically like directed at someone else. Like if anything happens to me, my blood will be on your hands. Kind of. So she hasn't like come straight out and said like I'm going to kill myself, but she's alluded to that.
Okay. Do you have her phone number?
Yeah.
If this is just somebody online, she's the one who put all her information out there,
do you know
so
the names
people
of her
could
parents? Or how many
do
people?
this.
Her dad's name is Ron.
Does he have the same
And
last name that she does, or does he have a different name?
yeah, he does, but her mom has a different last name.
Okay. Do you know the mom's name?
It's
If you don't, that's
Elizabeth.
fine.
I think it's Elizabeth, but I know it's not the same last name.
So this part, why? Even if it was somebody from the JFC, most of us wouldn't say
What is your
Elizabeth.
name?
We would say Jan.
My name is.
And what's your telephone number?
My number is. Sorry.
Okay. And what's your address?
Do I have to give my address?
No. Are you calling from in-state or out-of-state?
I'm currently out of state.
Okay. Okay. What state are you calling from, or what state do you live in?
I'm in.
Okay. All right. The officers are on the way. They'll go out and check on her, or at least try to call her. The officers will call you. Their number may come up as blocked or restricted, to make sure that your phone can answer those calls and that you will answer those calls until you hear from the officer, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your help.
Bye.
Okay, so that is the call that prompts this wellness check that we are going to watch. It was a female on the line calling about Owens and things she was saying. Let's see what transpires. All right, here's the CAD sheet from December 12th, 2023. This is about 4:42 p.m. The person calling is concerned about her friend Owens, unknown date of birth, who lives with her parents, pregnant with twins, been depressed for a while. She's not answering when her friend calls or texts. She's a white female, about 5'5", with a thin build when she's not pregnant. And then making the unaliving statements, but no direct threats made. 21 something for Laura. Her father's name is Ron. Mother may be Elizabeth with a different last name. That one's still I mean, technically it is her name, but most everybody knows her by Jan Black. The caller refused to provide her 20 in something. They tried calling the person, busy signal. And then Laura is being targeted by an ex-boyfriend who is posting online to have people call and harass her. She is fine, but dealing with random people calling in welfare checks. This is the third time this week. So we know that they sent an officer out for this particular one. And guess who they did not talk to? They did not talk to Laura. And if you have several people calling about you, maybe you should set your eyes on her if this is the third time this week, because she put something out there. You need to see this person. Because what if the person has the person inside and the person is already dead? Or it's the first time she's left alone when her mom comes to answer the door in this video clip. And during that time that she's not being supervised for the first time, that's when she decides to do it. They should have laid eyes on Owens. Because no matter whether we like what Owens does and what she stands for, this is not something we wish on anybody. And they should have done this correctly. They did Laura wrong, because what if there was a problem this one time? I don't care if it's the third time this week. Laura's lying because they think people are harassing her, when no, we're not harassing you. People are genuinely concerned about your well-being. And whether she thinks we want her in that state or not, we do not. And if this was your loved one or yourself, you would want them to make contact with your loved one directly, or you. Maybe not at the time when you're in that mood, but we cannot have things going wrong with people we dislike because we wouldn't want them to go wrong for people we love. All right, this is the body cam footage of Owen's mom that I got off of Schnitzel Ninja. Please go over to the channel and subscribe. I will link it in the description box below. So you can go over there. They've got the court hearings. They got many of the 911 calls and so forth. But let's take a look at this. I did do the video that has both police officers' body cam footage going at the same time. So hopefully that's not distracting for y'all, but I wanted the up close view and the side view of this. It's silent just here at the beginning. Waiting for her to come to the door. There she comes.
Is Laura here?
Jan
Yeah,
Black, Laura Owens' mother.
Is somebody called in a welfare check about her? Yes.
Yeah, it's a friend from New York. I don't know if you know who that might be.
No, what I do know is that she is the target of an online.
How is it the first thing she says is this a welfare check? I don't care if you've had 3 this week. Like, your daughter's involved in a lot of stuff. They could be there for any number of reasons. Is this a welfare check?
Harassment campaign that has been going on for months. Okay. And one of the things that they wanted to do, it was started by a disgruntled ex-boyfriend of hers. And he started posting all
This
of
is
this
what they put in the
crazy
CAD
stuff about her
report.
on Reddit, stuff that is unbelievable.
Right.
And so he has encouraged people to do, to call in the Scottsdale Police Department and do, and ask for a welfare check.
Okay.
This is like the third one in a week.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I had contacted she called in and talked to the Scottsdale Police Department as well and said, we don't want your resources. This is ridiculous. It's a prank thing.
Where's the
but I'm happy to
transcript
go
of
get it.
her calling
she
and
was taking
saying
a nap.
that?
This has been devastating beyond belief.
Is she asleep now?
She's taking a nap, but I can wake her up.
I don't think that would be necessary.
It's okay.
You are going in for a wellness check. You don't know who this lady is. I don't care if she said she was the mother and this is her name. You do not know for a fact that this woman is who she states she is. You have not asked to see her ID. And I don't care if she says that her daughter called and talked to Scottsdale Police already and said, oh, we don't want to waste police resources. Bitch, please. That's all you do. But no, don't wake her from a nap. They don't even know. What if that was a permanent nap? And what if this woman was pretending to be Owens' mother, but she was actually Kathy Bates from Misery? This is not okay. Lay eyes on her so that after the 3 wellness calls, at least you have laid eyes on her finally and can say, all right, you know what? We have seen her. We have talked to her about that. So any more calls we get in this time frame, we may still make sure we talk to her, but we can chalk it up to people are just calling. And nobody has been out there saying, I would like y'all all to harass her. There is no inciting harassment for Owens. She has brought things on herself by lying and herself putting things out into the public. Not these ex-boyfriends and everybody else. She did it.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't, for some reason, it wasn't in our notes for your address. I'm going to put comments in there that says this is an ongoing prank.
Right.
They still may send.
A prank.
We have to understand, because if it's not us on, or it's not the same dispatcher,
Did the
they still may just send on
FBI
it.
sound like it was a
but
prank?
I would work on trying to contact Reddit and let them know.
She has contacted them. They will not take it down. They will
Free
not take it down. And this
speech.
guy, he's created different fake accounts.
No, your daughter has done that. It's not him.
He's going to Great Lakes. Have you looked into an injunction against harassment?
She has against him. She's this is part of his thing. She's had this against him for 2 years.
Law advice.
And
This is an old ex-boyfriend then.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's an old ex-boyfriend, and she had the injunction against harassment against him. I mean, he's really another friend of ours who is an FBI profiler had looked at what this guy is all about, and she said he's the kind of a person who is not going to stop unless he thinks he's got to win. And he had said to her,
I wonder if the so-called FBI profiler, which we've heard nothing about, there's no statements from him saying and backing up any of this in Gillespie's case or Clayton's case, because I feel like they would have that out there. But I wonder if the FBI profiler person they're talking about is the same FBI people that she reached out to about her complaints and wanting the FBI to get involved. And the same FBI people that called a welfare check on her just a few days prior to this. Is that the FBI profile people that were like, oh, he sounds like he's never going to stop and he's just crazy. Like, you're right to keep doing what you're doing. Like, are these FBI people the same thing? Who is this FBI profiler? Another made-up character that Owens has created? Is he friends with Tag or Chase J. Jones?
he texted her, "I will destroy your life. I will destroy your reputation," and that was 2 years ago. And he's just continued this.
Is he local here? Or
Yeah, he's local.
What's his name?
He's local. His name is Greg Gillespie. But he could have called from a fake number, or like I say, he's tried to start stuff online. She contacted the Scottsdale Police.
And this is where they said, no, the person that called was a female. So it wasn't this ex-boyfriend. Even if he would have called from a fake number, it was a female that called. It didn't sound AI. Nothing like that. So right there, I would have been like, no, that's not who called.
Department with a lot of instances of these,
They let her
and they sent it to
yapping.
the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor's office said that they didn't think they could get a conviction on it. They said there was a lot of stuff, but they didn't know that if they would be able to get a conviction on it. So I think that one of his motives is to try to make it so that when her order against him comes up for renewal next year, that he can say, well, look, she's crazy. Look at all this stuff that he's posted online about her, and
Well, and then especially
what is your daughter doing?
Copies of it, so
All
she can go
that.
back to the judge and be like, this is what's going on.
Right, and he's contacted a podcaster who has also been doing just relentless posts about her. And
That's so strange.
I know.
Well, what happened, what prompted a lot of this stuff is my daughter became pregnant by the guy who was the Bachelor last year.
Oh, my
She
daughter's
became pregnant by him in May, and then he was acting like, oh, you're not really pregnant, or if you are pregnant,
Done
it's
by
not
the
mine.
Bachelor.
And then other times he was saying to us, like, oh, but he wanted to be involved in the pregnancy and all this kind of stuff. So
Never
anyhow,
said that.
when
That's
this
not
ex-boyfriend
anything
found out about
that any
her
communication, because she would have brought that up. It would have been in her proof.
There.
Is Laura here?
Yeah, she, is somebody called in a welfare check?
And, like, it's just, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a friend from New York. I don't know if you know who that might be.
No, what I do know is that she is the target of an online harassment campaign that has been going on for months.
Okay.
And one of the things that they wanted to do, it was started by a disgruntled ex-boyfriend of hers.
But if you
and
try to do that
he
as a
started posting all
civilian,
of this crazy stuff about
Google
her
doesn't
on Reddit,
remove any
stuff
of your
that is
information.
unbelievable.
Right.
And so he has encouraged people to do.
Oh, what I was going to say is, oh, she just posted Medium about how it was taking a toll on her. Yeah. You know what she mentioned in there? Unaliving ideations. People having blood on their hands. This so-called podcaster that you want to say. And Dave Neal reached out to Clayton or Gillespie. They didn't first reach out to Dave Neal and be like, hey, do you want to talk about this case? That's not how any of this went down.
To call in the Scottsdale Police Department.
It is a waste of resources.
And ask for welfare.
That's what your
This is
daughter
like the third
does.
one in a week.
Okay.
Court
And I had
resources,
contacted
police resources.
she called in and talked to the Scottsdale Police Department as well and said, we don't want your resources. This is ridiculous. It's a prank thing. But I'm happy to go get her. She was taking a nap. This has been devastating beyond belief.
Is she asleep now?
She's taking a nap, but I can wake her up.
when?
I don't think that would be necessary.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't, for some reason, it wasn't in our notes for your address.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put comments in there that says this is an ongoing prank.
Right.
They still may send.
So they also just gave them the number that the caller said this was the number that they could reach Owens at. Now, I believe what she's going to her car to grab is possibly the number of the caller. But by their words, they said there, I think they just gave the number that was Laura's number to her mom. And maybe her mom's like, oh, that's an old number or something. And so they're like, oh, that's old information and stuff like that. But let's continue while she goes to the car and grabs her stuff.
We have to understand, because if it's not us on, or it's not the same dispatchers, they still might just send on it. But I would work on trying to contact Reddit.
How do you know
and
if it's a
let them
fake
know.
number?
She has contacted them.
Like, do you
They
know
will
every
not
phone
take it
number
down.
in the world?
They will not take it down. And this guy, he's
How do you know if it's a Google
different fake
number or
accounts.
WhatsApp number?
I mean, it's.
He's going to great lengths. Have you looked into an injunction against harassment?
She has against him. She's this is part of his thing. She's had this against him for 2
Is that how
years.
Laura laughs? That laughs
This is an old ex-boyfriend then.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's an old ex-boyfriend, and she had the injunction against harassment against him. I mean, he's really another friend of ours
There's
who
your proof,
is
lady.
an FBI profiler had looked at what this guy is all about, and she said he's the kind of a person who is not going.
Sorry, I keep stopping, but now she is stating that this is the second pregnancy by somebody. Not only the Bachelor, but this guy too. So we have all these short time frames of her being pregnant. And the police aren't suspicious yet. And the question was, does he stop by the house? And she's like, well, there was this guy. And, they only dated for a little bit, but she was pregnant by him. Ma'am, that's not answering the question I asked.
Stop unless he thinks he's got to win.
Okay.
And he had said to her,
Where was he violent?
Her, I will destroy your life. I will
There's
destroy
no
your reputation.
violence.
And that was 2 years ago. And he's just continued this.
Is he local here? Or
Yeah, he's local.
what's his name?
He's local. His name is Greg Gillespie. But
We have
could
gone
called
into
from
that
the same
case,
number.
the
And like I say,
Gillespie
he's tried
thing.
to start stuff online.
We
She
have the
contacted the
parts.
Scottsdale Police
You can go
Department
to the
with a lot of
playlist directly.
instances of these, and they sent it to the prosecutor's office.
And
the prosecutor's office
nowhere
said that they didn't
does it
think
ask
they
for
could
a
get
charitable
conviction on it. They said
donation.
there was a lot of stuff, but they didn't know that they.
She
that
may
they
have
would be
said,
able to
I was
get
going to
conviction
take
on
the
it.
money and
So I
donate
think
it.
that one of his motives is
That's
to
Amber
try to
Heard's
make it so that when
move,
her
not
order
hers.
against him comes up for
She
renewal
is
next
Amber
year,
Heard, too,
then
though.
he can say,
She
well,
lies
look,
about
she's crazy. Look at all this stuff that he's posted online about her, and
Now she's
Well,
going to
and then especially
repeat
for her,
that her
document it,
daughter
copies of it,
keeps
so that she
getting
can go right to the
pegged
judge
by
and
many
see
men.
what's going on.
Right, and
Such
he's
a
contacted a
great
podcaster
brag
who
about your kids.
has also been doing just relentless posts about her. And
That's so strange.
I know.
Well, what happened, what prompted a lot of this stuff is my daughter became pregnant by the guy who
That
was a
never
bachelor.
once happened. Never once happened. I'll run that back. But Gillespie was not even in her presence through almost all the many times that she took these pills. Gillespie was not there shoving things down her throat. It's ridiculous. Your daughter doesn't even claim that in her declarations. It's not in the text messages either. Nice try, Mama. Why don't you get on the same page of lies as your daughter? All right. We're running it back.
Version case against him, not seeking any money, but saying, nobody should be, taking you by the mouth and forcing pills down your throat to get you, to have an abortion. And so this really started all of his anger against her. And she was able to get a protective order against him. And, it's just like I say, this whole thing has, once he found out, that she was pregnant by the Bachelor guy, then he was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to go tell him this stuff. And he's made lies. I mean, he's made crazy things. He's posted online stuff
No,
saying
your daughter
that,
has made up
that
stuff.
he went to high school with her, which he never did. I mean, he's posted on these fake accounts saying that he knew her in high school and that she was pregnant by a developmentally disabled kid, the father of somebody else, the school principal. I mean, things that are so unbelievably outrageous. I mean, it's just like, it's to really, I think, try to discredit her again so that when her order against him comes up,
She
that it'll look
discredits
like, oh, wow, you
herself.
look at the stuff
Like,
online. Yeah,
nobody needs to
So-
help her
So
do
there is a
that.
current order of protection against him.
Yes,
Okay.
there is. And
Was
like
that
I say, it
filed through
expires next year.
Scottsdale
Yeah.
or county? Okay.
Mhm.
So. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and the guy is unhinged. I mean, I had no clue when I had said to her when she wanted to file this abortion coercion case in the first place. I said, you know what, just let sleeping dogs lie. Just be done with him.
They
and
could
that.
just
She's
be
like, no, I feel really
placating
strongly
her
about what he did and the way he did
on
it to me.
this part.
And
I'm still
so,
not happy
she
with
went
the way
ahead
they
with it,
acted.
And as I say, it just started this torrent of.
But if they were in front of Gillespie,
yeah, really bad
and
stuff.
said,
But anyway,
and he told them what
I appreciated it,
Yeah,
and
no problem.
you know,
Definitely looking to try to get any
She
information we can
did.
removed online.
they would be like,
They did.
oh
What did they
yeah,
have?
she
Elizabeth?
sounds unhinged
okay, that's my
too.
given name. Jan is my nickname. Jan, so anyway.
Robert? What is it? When I took a picture of it, just
Oh, okay. Yeah.
they have your husband's name too.
Okay, Ron.
Ron.
Okay.
So, and this address. So,
And the officer just had it wrong when the caller did call in, because we just listened to that call. The caller did say Ron, not Robert. And is Jan a nickname for Elizabeth? Because I've not heard that one. I don't know how you get from Elizabeth to Jan. But I also don't understand Richard and Dick either. I get Jess and Jessica and Allison and Allie. Like, I get those. But Elizabeth and Jan, that one's weird to me.
I would definitely try to see whatever you can remove from online.
Yeah, no, they've been trying to post on our social media stuff. They posted on her social media stuff. And this guy, as I say, when she was going out with him, he said, like, well, I'm really suspicious of people, so, would you give me your passwords? Because I wouldn't want to think, I want everything to be, I want us to trust each other. So she gave it, she was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. So he's gone in to her emails from years and years ago, and doctored emails and sent them as though they were from her. He's doctored letterhead. He did come here one time when she was dating him, and the first thing he said is, he said, hey, I need your parents' Wi-Fi information. He was out here, and he said, I need their Wi-Fi. What's their password and stuff like that. So he's been doing
If later when you speak to Laura, like I said, I don't necessarily want to wake her up, but if she wants to speak with someone from the police department about everything that's been going on lately, because you said it's been the third time in about the last week or so.
Right, and she had talked with Detective Reedy, I think, he had come up with, he had sent the stuff and forwarded it to the prosecutors, but the prosecutors just said that they're, they have to be assured of getting a conviction.
Have her reach out to Detective Reedy again and let.
So, I don't know if she talked to Reedy, like, in November, like towards the end of November, or just on the 4th or whatever, but we're just on December 12th, and I don't think that the prosecutor around Thanksgiving, right before Christmas, is just going to be able to get back to you that quickly and say, oh, we don't have enough information to prosecute. Also, while I understand that Gillespie lawsuits were still going on when the Clayton lawsuits started, but Greg being at somebody's house and asking for a Wi-Fi password, which many people do so they don't use up their data if you don't have unlimited data, but that was in like 2021. – 2021, 2022. And so the fact that she hasn't changed any passwords since her and Greg dated, like, that's ridiculous. And if she didn't, she's dumb. But also I have heard that Gillespie never even went to this house, never went to her parents' house, because they only went on a couple of dates. I don't know that he was introduced to her parents. Might have met him once, but he wasn't there asking for the Wi-Fi password to hack her. Like, get over yourselves and stop with the lies. We see where your daughter gets it. And why? Well, Ron's complacent too, but he's not necessarily fully in his right mind currently, so may give him a little bit of a break. And he's being manipulated by these women. I don't know if her sister is just as bad, but like, this family has some serious issues.
Let him know what's going on with this now. That may be able to kind of help maybe refile the charges.
I think what his thing was that it would be difficult for him to be able to prove, she was suspicious of all this stuff. Yeah. But, there's nobody else who would have the motive to do this.
It is difficult.
There's suspicion.
It's
you know who has motive? Your daughter.
Like I say, he obviously,
suspicions,
did they say what their concern was when they called?
Suicidal comments.
Okay, well, because she had, when she posted this thing on Medium, she had written in there that this unrelenting, this has gone on for months, that this had made her feel borderline suicidal.
Okay.
So,
with that comment right there, she had posted on a Medium article that was to the public that with all this stuff, for months, it has made her feel borderline to unaliving. And they are still like, oh, okay, all right. Not, okay, well, we're really going to need to lay eyes on her. And can we see your ID for our report, ma'am? Like, are you kidding me? Like, some of this, I give them a pass for placating her. Like, they're just listening because they got to listen to everybody. And they don't get all the stories at once. They just get pieces. And sometimes one set of officers goes to this place and then the other set goes to another place. And so they don't actually get to hear the two sides. But the fact that her mom is admitting, yes, she did make those comments and she has been feeling like this for months. They're just like, oh, just let her sleep, have her nap. We'll just take this lady's word who we don't actually know if she is who she says she is. I mean, thankfully she is, but they don't know that.
You know, but she said the borderline suicidal, but that's not, you know,
it's not the case.
Right. It's like she had said to me, like, oh my God, how much more of this can I take?
Right.
Does she have any friends in New York?
My daughter lives in New York. My other daughter lives in New York, but she's well aware of what's going on there. She would
contact you directly.
Of course. And Laura talks to her like 2 hours a day. They're on the phone. So, and I was just with my daughter in
2
there.
hours
like
a day, but she was going to say twice.
She lives in Casita, and the reason I left was because she said, "Hey, I'm spent from all this. I just want to close my eyes for a little bit."
Yeah.
So,
When did she post that?
when did she post the Medium thing?
She said yesterday.
Yesterday?
No, it was before. I mean, it was on there yesterday, but I want to say it was maybe. Today's Tuesday, maybe Friday night or Saturday.
Okay, that kind of goes with the timeline. I'm going to give this to you. Not that you guys are in crisis, but they might be able to kind of help. Just if there's someone else to talk to, or that they have resources that we don't even know exist.
Oh, really?
Reach out. They might be able to help you put you guys in a good direction.
Okay.
And also reach out to Detective Reed again and
And just
there's
say
anything
this
else
has
that
been
you
going
need.
on.
let him know what's been happening, and that way he's kind of apprised of it too. So it might be able to help kind of open a different door, a different direction. But reach out to him again.
Okay.
These guys have a lot of resources that we don't even know exist.
Okay.
So give them a call.
Okay, yeah, it can't hurt. Because,
No.
I mean, because like she had said, she had tried to be anonymous with this whole thing initially with the pregnancy with the bachelor guy, and then people were saying, well, wait, you can, or this guy was starting the conversation that, wait, you can Google the case, and then her name comes up.
Now
It's Laura
she's
Owens.
like...
She's a podcaster. She and I do a podcast.
We do a
And we've done it
podcast.
for,
And we're
I guess
just
it's
so popular
2017.
that my daughter
and
can
iTunes
get
named us one of the top
pegged by
25
The
most downloaded new
Bachelor.
podcasts in 2018. So we've had success with it. But I mean, this is just
They don't want to
you know,
listen to your
she really had
podcast,
wanted
lady.
to stay under the radar on this, and then she finally decided, like, hey, you know, this guy is controlling the narrative, and I have to speak out. I have to explain what's been going on, because otherwise she was feeling like she was getting no support from anybody. Because
This guy is controlling the narrative, and she felt like she was getting support from nobody. This guy didn't put the narrative out there. You did with your calls to the media. You putting stuff on Reddit. And people all thought in the beginning, why would somebody lie about this? Like, because it's so easy to prove, so it was going to be like, well, obviously we're going to find out if she's telling the truth or not soon. But to say that this guy is the one who started all this, and he's controlling everything, and she feels like she needs to say something because nobody understands her, that is so far from the truth, it's not even funny.
she didn't really want to go tell her friends and everything like that this was all going on.
Yeah.
So it's a nightmare.
She didn't tell her friends
But I
because her
really appreciate
friends
it.
would
we'll
know
put
it's
comments in
not
there so
true
they know.
because they'd see
Officer
her
Brennick
physically.
was the guy who contacted her the other night. Like,
Yeah.
I wish some of her friends that
We'll put
saw her
comments in there
during
with the
this
address, and
time
then
would come
it'll come up in the
forward.
history. We can go back and read through the comments. So we'll try to do that to kind of help you guys out a little bit.
okay, yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Anything.
No
anything
problem.
else? Hey, wait, I've got something for you guys. Hang on one sec. Here. I hope this isn't bribing the cops.
Thank you.
I
I
appreciate
don't say no
that.
to chocolate, so. Well,
She has
All right,
small
thank you. Have a good day.
jokes
All right,
and
you
she...
take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much. No
Yeah.
problem.
So that's the end of that. But I have to say that Owen's mom, with the, oh, when I said he was old, I meant old, and then, you know, hey, I have some Christmas candy or Halloween candy or something, or I'd offer like some water in the summer or something. I would probably have the same joke as, you know, I hope this isn't bribing the cops, because you're not allowed to do that. They actually kind of deal with this in the Karen Reed case, about accepting a gift and them wanting to give the officer a gift and things like that. And he's like, no, get it for my wife. But I don't think like giving chocolate, but I would make the same jokes. So I think she has a similar sense of humor, or the way she tells little jokes like that is similar to me. That might be the only place that we're alike, because the lies are ridiculous. Like, I would never do that for my daughter in that way. I am not destroying another man's life because my daughter wanted to act cray-cray. Like, I would just sit her down and tell her how it is and be blunt about it. Like, I'm not going to be a part of this. But the cops did Laura dirty here. And some people may, well, she deserves it, even if she was actually unaliving herself or something, you know. But this is just not how things should be conducted. And we should hold our police officers to a higher standard. This is not okay, and there needs to be more training in this. Because while this one was okay, the next person may not be. These next few pages are just going to be the transcript of the video we just watched. And so you can read it if you are a visual person. You could also, so you could pause it and read it. You could go to the JFC wiki page. They've got the transcript there. If you are a visual reading person and not an audio listener. Again, you can pause to read this. This is page 3 and 4 of 6 of the transcript. And pause one more time if you want to read through it for pages 5 and 6. And this is the end of the transcript of the video we just watched. That is going to be it for this video. We may look at some of the other audio calls from the police and that Owens made. And if we don't have audio, maybe we look at a couple of those transcripts. And I am trying to be all inclusive in these videos so that if people want to read and listen, read instead of listen, they can. And links to those things will be in the description box of this video. And we are ending with our quote of the day as accept the person in the situation for exactly what it is, instead of trying to manipulate it into what you think it needs to be. Mandy Hale. Yeah, don't try to manipulate the situation into what you think it needs to be or what you want it to be. The situation is the situation. The person you're dealing with and the way they're behaving is who they are. And accepting those things, accepting that somebody doesn't love you, somebody doesn't want to be with you. You need to accept those truths, not spin it into something that you want it to be. That doesn't make it true. And on the other coin, accept that the person in front of you is a liar, that they are not a good person. They are capable of anything. So with this quote, I want you, if you are in situations in your own life, take a look at the people and the situations that you're in, and take a good hard look at them. And if you find that you're making excuses or you're not accepting what these people really are or the situation and what it really is, try to accept it. Don't waste energy on trying to manipulate things into what you think it needs to be or want to be. That is my words for you today, and I will see you in the next video. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already,